Hello and welcome to another LEGO video. Today I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm doing a review. Now what you can see here in front of you is the LEGO Creator 3-in-1 boat for 2018. It's a 3-in-1 set, so there are 3 different possible models. As shown on the back of the box, so you can see here a house and a small boat, small sailing boat, and here an airport, well, a helipad, a heliport with a helicopter, a helipad, and a small but rather depleted airport control tower. And then obviously the boat up in the top left hand corner. However, I won't show you a picture of that because you can see that in front of you anyway, and it doesn't quite fit within the camera. So we have a jet ski, which is a very nice addition if you ask me, especially as it's very close to the actual thing. I'll take the figure off because we're going to see the figure in a minute. I'll just put them on the back of the boat. So the jet ski is quite believable. It's got one of those new pieces that allow you to trap the piece between the figure's legs. The handlebar piece that's been around for a long time. Also the use of the Technic pin, the piece that receives the Technic pin on the back is a very good use of it for a jet, and that is a very nice piece. I think an arm for a robot at one point, but it's used in all sorts of stuff like the futon or sofa bed in Assembly Square. Also the use of this piece here is a very nice use, I think. So all round a good piece. So we'll move that out of the way. Now before we go on to the main build, we'll go on to the next bit. Actually the order for building was the jet ski, this, and this, then this, which is quite a good order because it's almost the order of size, so that's how I'm working it in this video. It worked out well in this video because of where I positioned them. So this is quite a nice sandcastle. It's considerably bigger than any of the sandcastles I've got on my beach, which I will be showing in a video at a later date. I probably will actually build these into my village into my city because I bought this set for 2 reasons. 1, to review it, and 2, because it looked like a really fun set and I wanted to be able to play with it, build it, and use it in my city because it looked like it would be a very good boat. So anyway, it's quite big. It's a nice use of the crab piece. Gives the crab a castle, I suppose. I think the use of these pieces here, although it looks slightly crude from close up, from a distance looks really good. And certainly I think that's one of the best uses we get for them in quite a lot of sets actually. And it's certainly something they've done before and they'll probably keep doing anyway. So if you don't like it, it's highly likely that they'll just keep doing it anyway. And I suggest just if you like the set, buy the set and don't do that because it's still a great sandcastle and still a great boat set. So I think we'll move it on. Just one thing though, that is resting on the jumper plate. Now then, just before we move on to the boat itself, let's move on to this. I think this is a very good use for the elephant's tusk piece, which I thought was a very good idea. If a fly comes across the screen, that's because we've got a bit of a fly epidemic. I also found this piece was very good. I've never had one of these before. I've had the smaller version, but not this version. I think lime green's a good colour for it. It would have been nice to see some printing on it, but it means that you could use it on all sorts of stuff as it is. The use of, I think, light aqua here works. We don't normally see it like that, so that's nice. And that use of part there with, well, get it, I've got one in my sorting drawers, but it's a bit too far away to reach. So it's this piece. It's like a standard corner tile, however it's had a bit chopped off. They use it quite a lot in Assembly Square for all the patterning, and that really works because it means that's quite strong. It also, because it has a circular piece in the middle, does allow you to slightly pose that, although not much, and it does put some stress on the parts. Obviously that turns quite well because it's all on a Technic pin, and that allows you to pose it quite well because that's on a bar. So anyway, enough with the tree, which evidently I'm very much enjoying. It's got quite a nice bucket. That's a bucket they've used in lots of stuff, so we'll just brush over that. I think it's quite a good base to it. And getting the hot dog piece and the Coke can. I think it's a Coke can, although obviously it has no branding on it because otherwise I'd have to talk to Coca-Cola. So it's just a red can, and with a really nice print on the top, and then which they include 2 of. And then it has a hot dog, which is a 2-part piece, and I think we've seen it a good few times before in some sets and also in last year's collectible minifig series. The sunshade or parasol is a good colour and a very good use of that piece. However, personally, if I was making this, I would bring back out the printed one, which is white with multicoloured stripes on it, that I did use for quite a while for some street furniture actually, but that's a very good use of that piece, I think. All round so far appears to be quite a good set, doesn't it? Oops, that's the trouble when you try and move stuff out the way with your arrow. Obviously this arrow doesn't come in the set. I got the idea for this actually from Jangbrooks. If you want to know how I made it, I might do a small video on that at some point. So obviously it's difficult to see where you could start on this because it's so big. However, I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. So we'll move this bit to the back and just start up here. I think it's a let's move the minifig. I think it's a sunbed at the back there. Let's get rid of the camera too. Nice chair. That will sit this minifig. I found it a little, I didn't quite realise that until a third go, that it would just fit. Even though I've had that hairpiece a few times before and probably have set it down. Anyway, well, yeah, so here, that's a really nice use of that windscreen piece, which I've seen in lots of cars and a few boats, but I think this is the first time they've done it in this kind of boat. I've seen it in a police boat before and possibly in a fire boat, but I think this is the first time I've seen it in a civilian boat that has a built-up hull. So that's quite nice. Up here, it's got radar, a satellite dish, not really a satellite dish, but I should know these because I'm quite a high-level sailor, but unfortunately I don't know much about motorboats, even though I want to build them. Well, mainly sailing boats, but yeah. Anyway, that's quite a nice build for a bird, probably a seagull. However, it could be better, and because it doesn't have any tail. However, if you look at the parts included, it includes spare parts that could be used to build the tail, and then it looks considerably better. Before then, it's obviously isn't. If you build it separately, it's evidently a bird. However, it could be just any old thing and could be a bit of scanner machinery on the roof. Nice use of the red chair, which does go well with the red steering wheel. I'm just going to move this bit. Obviously this isn't meant to do this, but it's Lego, so it lets you. And in fact from here you can see the bar piece very well that they've used on here, including some spaghetti pieces. Now it suggested you have them up like this, but that doesn't look great, so personally I'd keep them down. I think they did that because that was just how you could, because that's how you can see that they've been put in properly. However, if you look at the instruction book, which I do have to hand, it doesn't actually on the front cover show, let's just check that this is in camera. Yeah, so it doesn't actually show the hole. So I'm guessing that was merely just to tell you that you've got it clicked in. Anyway, it includes two fairly standard pieces here that appear on absolutely everything from helicopters to even jet skis sometimes, but they appear on absolutely everything, even in hospitals and fire stations and police stations. The list is endless, but that piece is only normally used in cars. However, I think that was a very good use for it. And once again, the red on there and the red on there contrasts well with the red here, giving it quite a red feel actually up there. So I think this one has served its purpose for now, so we'll just move it out of the way. And then the big main boat, I'm just going to remove this little girl. And obviously the first thing that will catch your eye is just how big it is. However, I've already mentioned that, and I think we might as well go into what else it looks like. So it has here quite a long piece of almost wire, but that is actually just plastic. If I attach it, it does come with a spare one of these because they're at the moment very rare, having only come out, to my knowledge, in 3 sets. Actually, they might have come out in the Creator Expert yeah, so they came out in one Jurassic Park or Jurassic World set, possibly Raptor Escape, and as a fence piece. I think they might have come out in the Creator Expert it's really strange because I was talking about it only this morning. Roller Coaster, that's it, Roller Coaster. It's quite nice they are in metallic colour. They're in a metallic silver. However, they haven't come out in any other colour. This is very good because it continues it round. It would have been nice if that was in metallic, but I don't think that's ever come out in metallic before, and may never ever come out in metallic. This bit here is nice, although it would have been nice to include in the quarter deck a sunbed or a place to put minifigs of some description other than just standing them up. I think I'll show you, now would be a good time to show you the, they are being used here as fenders, but they're actually life rings, lifesavers, not sweets obviously. And this here is, as pointed out in the Marx Brothers, this here is some really nice greebling, which is surprisingly easy to do, considering the fact you wouldn't think it to be all that easy. I did actually make a few mistakes with it by accidentally mirroring it, because the most recent set I built entirely as a mirror, because I bought 2 assembly squares and then built one is normally and one in mirror. I built the one in mirror at Christmas and I built the other one in the summer. So anyway, enough with that. You can see here that they haven't saved expense on the windows, which is really nice. So if you part out this set, you have 10 of these windows, which is really good because they're super useful and you can use them on all sorts of stuff. And I don't think any of the other iterations use all the windows, so that's really good. And obviously you can barely even see it, but there is a little bit that would have been left as a gap. So it's really nice to get this because it's only a third of the price of a modular building, and yet it's completely built around. And the only other kind of complete set cheaper than this is a 44 quid set, I think. That is that or a car with that is sort of the only other kind of fully complete set that exists that's cheaper than this. And even then, any building that you get that's fully complete with a back is 3 times the price. So it's a lot extra. This bit here reminds me of quite a lot of motorboats. However, I can't remember what type looks like that it really reminds me of. If they'd done this in brown, it would have made me think of the Margaretta from Coot Club by Arthur Ransom, and which is a really good book. So if I was a book critic, which I'm not, I would certainly be suggesting that book. So here is a really nice use of a fishing rod. I think better than the official fishing rod piece. Obviously, this is a official set. However, it's not often we see it look really this good as a fishing rod. So it's a whip piece, which they actually include 2 of, attached to a fish, attached to one of those pieces that started out really as a space gun and then became a megaphone, and then they removed the megaphone space gun piece, and then here they added a little round piece with a hole in it as the reel, which I think is a very good use of that. And then it had once again, I got this slightly off. I say once again because I accidentally took it off once during the build and then got it wrong. There. So that's really good. This is very believable with the fence-like setup. And then the door is not really believable because in a real boat it wouldn't open inwards, it would open outwards. However, you can see why they've done it. It's so they can get that setup of stairs. And that, to me, is one of the best stair setups they've ever done. The inclusion of these 2 pieces clipped on is really good, I think anyway. And the ladder built into the side looks really good. It would have been nice, however, if as part of the loo they built up a wall there. But anyway, I think it's a really good set anyway. Right, so now if I turn it around again, you can see they've done snot here for the window, and the building up here is very good. In fact, if I take this up, they've done it so well it's almost impossible to undo it, but So obviously you're not meant to do this, but under here there is space to have a hold, and you could technically put the cool box that is included in this in there, which actually I forgot to show you, so I'll show you that to you at the end. So now I guess it's time to show you the interior. So let's show you. So here we have a really very nice TV piece. The use of that piece to create the look of a TV is a very good idea. Then if I turn it round, here you can see they've got food prep, sink and toilet, which is where personally I would have built up a slightly larger wall. Then a really nice bed which has got a window here. If I'd made this, I might have printed it or included the sticker so that it suggested there was some kind of blind there, because trying to sleep like that would be ill-nigh impossible. Here there is a extra bed. There's the bed on there, and here, this is the bit I was going to say, is something they really didn't need to include, but they did, is a radio. Now, obviously this could be any of two forms of radio. One, a two-way radio, which is what all ships have to have anyway, or it could just be for listening to the radio. Say maybe the BBC or something else. Probably the BBC is like the BBC Lego, try not to be controversial. So, all in all, a really great set. And yes, I nearly forgot to show you, didn't I? The cooler box. Really very simple thing. It's just a flap. They include an ice lolly to go in it. And at one end they have a 2x2 tiling grey, which is really good to get if you are always using them and practically eating them for your roads. Because if you put all your paving like that. And yeah, it's just a really simple build, and it also includes this in tan, which I think is quite rare. Certainly I haven't seen it done before in that colour. So all in all, I think this is a great set. I like to play with Lego, but even I normally don't try to start playing with the set before I've even finished building it. So I think this is an incredibly good set on all fronts. I think the parts to price ratio is very good. I can't remember what it is, but it is very good. And all in all, I think it's a good set. But now we've reviewed the set itself, we've got to look at the minifigs, because personally I don't include them as part of the set. I include them as minifigs because they aren't bricks, they're minifigs. So, unless it's the new brick minifigs, the ones who've got a brick for their body. So, we have a woman here who is a really great minifig, and apart from her hair completely popping off, I think this is a good minifig. It uses parts I've seen used before. However, unfortunately, I think this is a slightly bad mistake of Lego, which is this suggests that there is no covering for the back of her bum at all. Now, if they were, say, to have done this as dual moulded legs like they've done for this male minifig, obviously I think they've done this before. However, it would be worth it if they dual moulded that bit in red and just printed on the yellow there and there, because it would have just been so much, it would have looked so much nicer, and I think for many kids it would also mean they understood what swing suits were actually like, even if they, obviously they would be seeing them, but it would make them really think, and it would mean you could have one that actually allowed for a certain amount of modesty in your Lego city. And then we have this girl. I think all parts that have been used before. In fact, I already have most of these parts, apart from the lavender legs. The face is one that came out in a Christmas set, as well as many other sets. Quite a lot of Creator Expert sets this face came out in, actually. The hairpiece, I think, first came out in Assembly Square, and I think this is the third one I've got, actually, of that hairpiece. It's a really nice hairpiece. It's quite small. Just to say that the woman does actually have a secondary face. Just a pair of sunglasses. And obviously she's got a mouth. And whereas the girl has really great printing on her back. However, she has no back face printing. The woman, while I'm on the subject, does have back printing once more, as I pointed out earlier, but doesn't have that bit. Just to bring home the point. As for this male minifig, the problem that the female minifig had was gone, and I do feel it's a bit of a shame that the male minifig doesn't have that problem and the female minifig does. However, that's how it is, and I guess I'm going to have to live with that. However, the inclusion of dual moulded legs is really good. Something they've started doing more and more, and I really herald, especially in the Lego Ninjago movie. He does have a secondary face. In fact, both adult minifigs do. His torso is one that's been used time and time again, so we won't go into too much detail about that. And I think all of him has been used quite a lot. Now, the face that he has, there has been some dispute as to when quite a lot of people have been saying that that face first came out in the roller coaster. I keep on mentioning that set today. However, it didn't. It actually first came out in the Fairground Mixer, and I know this because I have pictures of the set from the Lego Dictionary, which I was having a good look through last night to familiarise myself with the set and what else had been in existence before it. So yeah, that's the lot, and once again it is a great set and a great bunch of minifigs. Obviously the puffed out cheeks and sick expression do allow him to be seasick. So yeah, I think this is a great set. I think this is a good set for anyone who enjoys boats or just likes a good build. And as far as parting out the pieces, it's got a good amount of pieces in it, quite a lot of pieces that haven't appeared very often, For instance, that piece has only really appeared in fire engines, the roof of the Grand Emporium, and a few other sets, but that's, I think, only been about 7 or 8 sets. One of which is a super expensive set, and I don't think there's any of those that are currently still being made, except for this set. So from that perspective, it's a very good set. I do suggest making it possible to get into this. And as it comes with a spare lid, you may well have noticed that I actually already did that and just forgot to mention it, that I have just dug out from my own parts collection another red cylinder, because that's all it is, and stuck on the tile on top. And yeah, I think this is a really good set and a fun build. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.